Hey, I'm Bob Keaton, Shop 38. I'm going to talk to you today about the Gambler 500. No surprise. The Gambler 500 is a mostly off road 500-mile endurance, navigation, and trail cleanup challenge using cheap, fun, or impractical vehicles, valued at $500 or less. The idea first came up by Tate Morgan in 2014. He just had the idea for a challenge to go 500 miles off road in a $500 car. He and his buddies did it, and they had a fantastic time. The next summer, they did it again, and they had told some of their friends and told some of their friends. And by 2019, there were 5,000 participants and 2,200 vehicles in the Oregon Gambler. It's also spread across the whole nation. There's smaller groups operating in having events in like every state. There's a Canadian group doing it. There's a group in New Zealand. There's been an event in Mexico. There's been an event in Iceland. So it is spreading very fast, and it's just a ton of fun. The purpose of the Gambler 500 is to encourage the responsible enjoyment of public lands, and we do that by helping people discover parts of public lands that they normally wouldn't go to, using public roads, forestry roads, through national or state parks, state forests, stuff like that. We actively and competitively seek out litter to clean up from these trails. If we're all going out there, we're having a good time, we may as well clean up the trails and leave it better than we found it. And we've gotten quite a reputation for cleaning up trash. I'll talk about that here in a little bit. We also want to show people that you don't need a big budget to do this. You can buy just a cheap $200, $300, $400 car off Craigslist, throw some camping gear in it, and just come on out and have fun. And if you break it or if you damage it or whatever, then it doesn't matter. The car has no resale value anyway. So off-roading isn't just for the people in the $40,000, $50,000 overlander rigs. Who, if they break something or if they scratch the side of their car, that's devastating. That ruins their weekend. If you get your Pontiac Sunfire stuck on a tree stump somewhere, you're gonna laugh about it because who cares? The Gambler is often confused for a race. It's not a race. You start whenever you want. There's no set course, and there's really no finish line. So that's why we call it a rally. Each team is given a list of GPS coordinates, and these are waypoints that you can choose to navigate to or not. You don't have to. There's no order. Some of these spots are just, hey, it's a really cool view, or maybe it's a historic spot, or maybe it's an illegal dump site that somebody found that they need help cleaning up. And you just make your way there when you want to, and or just go any direction you want to. We follow, like one of our mottos is pavement is lava. And the idea for that is that you have more adventure off-road than you will on the highway. So every opportunity you get, take the dirt road, take the gravel road, go completely off-road, or whatever. You're going to discover more beautiful country on the back roads than you will on the main highways. So littering and illegal dumping are why a lot of public lands get closed off to the public. So what we'll do, we've also been called the world's largest competitive trail cleanup, and that's something that we hold pretty tight to. We are competitive about the amount of trash we pick up, about the who can bring back the weirdest piece of trash or the most trash, and is with our vehicles being low value anyway. It doesn't matter if we don't care if they get dirty or if they get dented or scratched or whatever. They're junky cars anyway, and we'll use them to have fun and recover pieces of trash. One of the best things I've ever seen was a four-door Geo Metro with a full-size refrigerator on the roof, and the four occupants inside had their arms out the window holding the refrigerator on. And they brought that back to camp so we could properly dispose of it, and they had the biggest grins on their faces. And that was one of the coolest things I've seen. Since Tate Morgan has actually been keeping track, we've collected over 1 million pounds of trash off public roads and disposed of them properly. For events, we will rent out a 20-yard, 40-yard dumpster and fill that with all the trash we find. We never rent enough dumpsters. We always have to come back the next day with another one because there's always overflow, and that's fantastic. Biggest misconception about the Gambler is that it has to be a $500 car. Now, that was the original challenge, but it's not a rule, and it's not enforced at all. You can spend as little or as much as you want on a vehicle. It's your vehicle. If you want to put serious money into a rig and wrap it around a tree, okay, well, whatever. It's your money. Try not to do that, but you're going to have a lot more fun in a rusted out $300 Corolla than you will a $40,000 Jeep Rubicon. You're going to risk having more fun. You know, the guys in the Jeep aren't going to, you know, hit the trail as hard and as serious as you will in a $300 Pontiac that you don't care about. So being low budget also means that you're kind of encouraged to have low budget repairs. And so, quick story, one time I fixed someone's flickering taillight with a 45 casing that they had in their car and some duct tape. And stuff like that's celebrated. You know, we love cheap fixes. We love seeing creativity and ingenuity. And, you know, your lack of skill and lack of resources is something is celebrated at the Gambler. You know, we're not all mechanics. We're not all engineers. Most of us have no idea what we're doing. But we help each other out, and we have a lot of fun. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, you know, I hope you learned a little bit more about the Gambler 500. The type of builds that we have, you can build any type of car you want. So, if you really want to dump money into something, you can build something like this. It's called the USS Compensator. That was a Lincoln limousine, and it's lifted on 54-inch tires. I was running out of printer ink, sorry. You could run an old vehicle. This is a 76 Dodge work van, and this is actually the vehicle that I rode in my first Gambler event, and I drove it at another Gambler event. It is very basic. It is very incapable of being driven off-road, but it was a ton of fun to drive. Handles like a refrigerator falling down a staircase, but it was a ton of fun. Or you don't have to modify it at all. You can just buy, you know, these guys ran just a bone stock Cavalier, and that's great too. You can also build something weird. So these guys built their own take on a replica of the Mutt Mobile from Dumb and Dumber, and they actually it is built up a little bit. They do hit the trails pretty hard in that. But yeah, you can build anything you want. Budget doesn't matter. We don't care how much you spend on it. It's still your car. We just want you to come out and clean up the trails with us and have a good time, and then we'll go back to camp and drink beer about it, and just make new friends. So anyway, that's the Gambler 500 in a nutshell. I could go on about it forever. So yeah, hope to see you out there. Thanks.